so I'm very happy to be here, and I'm excited to give you some life updates because there are some fun, kind of big for me changes and things that I'm excited to talk about. So I hope that this can help you relax, turn your brain off, maybe even fall asleep on a positive note, and I will get my makeup on my face for the day, so we're being productive as well, so that's great. I am going to not talk too much about my makeup routine. I have other videos where I spend a lot more time talking about the products. I think in my previous video I talk about the actual products a lot more. Not a beauty guru, never said I was, so don't listen to me. Okay, so currently this goes into the first topic. I don't have a script, so it's going to be rambly, and my mirror is right here in front of me, so I'm kind of almost looking at you, but not quite. This week in Nijmegen, which is the city that I used to live in during my studies, there is a big event, and it is called the 4 Days Walk, or the Walk of the World. That means that many people from across the country and the world even have signed up to walk. I think it's 30 to 50 kilometers each day for 4 days. And around that event, there is a whole festival in the city last year I moved at the end of the zomerfeesten, which I would not recommend to anyone because it was such an ordeal to get the car into the city center. That's a bad idea, but it had to happen like that, so I always have a bit of mixed feelings around going back, but mostly I'm just excited to see everyone and to catch up, and it's nice when people get excited to see you. That feels really, really special. So that's nice. And so Friday I just spent the day with old roommates and just hung out. And on the Saturday all the festivities begun. So first, me and my best friend had lunch in the city. We went to Barrio Alto, which is a wonderful spot. We love it there, and you can picnic there. So you can place an order. So I had an acai bowl, and she had a sandwich. You place an order, and then you get a number, and you can wait outside. You can have lunch inside as well. It's a cafe, so you can do whatever. But outside they have this little stand where they have pillows and blankets, and if you choose to do a picnic, they bring out your order in a picnic basket and you pick it up, and you can sit across the street in a little patch of grass. And it was so nice. It was such a good start to the event. I wasn't feeling very well tummy-wise. I think accumulation of stress and espresso, and so I was not feeling great, and I'm just saying that because I want to be honest about my experience. But I didn't let that stop me from enjoying the day. So we had lunch, took it easy, and then we went to a couple shops. We bought some new jeans. We bought the same pair, which was just amazing. It was so fun. So obviously we're now working on getting matching outfits to wear at some point because duh. And so we had a lot of fun about that, of course. And then we went for a walk through the little shopping street, and one of our friends was working at one of the shops, so we ran into her, and then we had a chit chat, and then we walked a bit further, and then one of our best friends was there sitting on a terrace, and I was like, this is exactly what I love so much about this city. But in 1 hour I've seen my 3 best friends, who actually all grew up here, and we all moved there at some point. But that was just wonderful, made my day so sweet, loved it. And then we went to a park because a guy who lives in a house that I used to live in is in a band, and they were performing in the park. It was really cool, and they were great, so I wanted to go see them. And then I saw a bunch of old roommates from that house, and we got to catch up a little bit and dance, and that was wonderful. I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I can't multitask on that. So after that, we kind of just hung out. It was very warm as well, so we took it easy. And then we were in Kronenberg Park. I always love it there. And then we went to Smaakmarkt for a little bit, which is by the water. And there are also a lot of food things, and there's live music. There are, I think, 2 or 3 locations there. But because it's where all the food is and it's by the water, it's just a long row of food trucks. But it gets so crowded there, and I think it's a great spot to be, but I think crowd-wise it's my least favorite place because it's just so hard to get out of there, and that's when I get a little stressed usually. So it's not my preferred place. But I walked a little bit over to the Kai, and the Kai is by the water. Actually, one time I met a subscriber we chatted for a bit. I went home to take a nap for like an hour. I needed to not be stimulated in any way. And then we went to the island. And yes, there's a little island in the city. And there is kind of a beachy area. And that's where there was also a lot of live music. So that was really fun. And I met up with my brother there. And we just hung out. En dan at the end of the evening, Fresco. Ik weet nooit zo goed hoe je het uitspreekt. Fresco, denk ik. Dutch rapper performed, and he has beautiful lyrics, and it was wonderful to watch live. So that was amazing, and I ran into one of my best friends there as well, and just had a great time. So it was a good day. But then I just had this phase of I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this, so I might need a minute to gather my thoughts. But I go in loops with social media. On the one hand, I really love it, and on the other hand, I absolutely hate it. And I really value presence, mindfulness, making conscious decisions, living a conscious life, I guess. And I would catch myself on Instagram keeping up with parasocial relationships, first of all, that would not fulfill me in the same way as my real relationships in person. It would also make me anxious. It would make me numb, cynical. I absolutely don't love short form content. I don't like that you can't choose what you're watching. You're already watching it before you can decide if you want to watch it, you know? It's already served to you. I think it's incredibly bad for all of our mental health and our brains. This is not to freak anyone out over using social media, and I'm not judging anyone who does. Because like I also said, on one hand I also really love it because I do see the opportunity for connection and to meet like-minded people, people with the same interests. It's just that I don't feel fulfillment through the barrier of the screen. That's the same with YouTube, but we'll get into this all maybe in a different video if you guys are interested in that. And I can gather my thoughts a bit more. I did make a Patreon video about this, but I get self-comparative. I hate that I can see someone's relationship who I don't even know, and that I'm thinking about that before I'm going to bed, and I'm scrolling and I'm watching them talk about their life, and then the next thing is something about Gaza, and the next thing is someone showing what's in their bag, and then it's a home renovation project that I'm super invested in, but I don't freaking know these people and they live on a different continent. It's too much for my brain to cope with, and I am not enjoying it. So after always having taken breaks and stuff, I just catch myself going through this same loop over and over again. And what would also happen is that I would be away from Instagram and enjoying it, but I also knew that I would be coming back, so I was already kind of thinking about what I would post when I got back. That's not really how I want to live my life, and when I take photos, I don't want to take photos for the gram to show off. I now barely take photos, and when I do, I stick them in my journal or I send them in a group chat to my friends. And maybe I'm a little bit too jumpy in this topic, and I would love to, like I said, get back to this later, but I just want things to feel a little bit more calm in my brain and in my digital space so that I can focus on my offline space more. ASMR is a source of income for me, so you can see it as a job, and I do take that very seriously, but also it started as a passion project and I want to keep it that way. And with maintaining my YouTube channel and taking care of that, and having an Instagram page where I would be posting about I don't even know what, that was also a thing where I social circle, so there's a lot of gaps. I'm feeling the voids of that, so I'm now enjoying it, but I'm also in a week where I'm just seeing a lot of friends and doing things offline. And so I have a lot of conflicting feelings about it, but it hasn't been rainbows and sunshine, unfortunately. But that is all the more proof to me that it was a good decision for me, because I am now a much more attentive friend on WhatsApp, for example, which is the main app in the Netherlands where we text. Because I would also sometimes leave open 40 chats and still scroll on Instagram or post something in my story, and I would not respond on WhatsApp because I was overwhelmed and taking space, you know, and I'm still a slow responder, don't get me wrong, but it's because I'm just not on my phone. It's not because I'm somewhere else on my phone. And that this way of doing things feels a lot more in line with my values, and when I really sat down and looked at my values, I realized that it wasn't really feeling good for me anymore. It also makes me sad because I know that some people can have really healthy boundaries with social media. I just can't. I've done many detoxes. I've used every app blocking app there is. I still use Opal because, you know, I have the app for work, but I don't want to tempt myself, so it always blocks it from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. at least. And some other apps. That one works fine, but it doesn't. It never hits the spot. None of the apps have hit the spot in the way that just deleting it does. And so, if anyone is thinking about it, I would say do it. It's really not that big. It's big because we make it big. And I am always really saddened when I see, you know, when I'm with someone and I go to the bathroom and they grab their phones, and I do that too sometimes, but just the fact that we are so programmed to grab those fucking phones every second we get. Go to the bathroom without your phone for once, you know? Or at the bus stop, just look around, listen to the birds, you know, listen to a conversation next to you. I don't know. There's so much entertainment around, and I would like to not be addicted to dopamine anymore. And so this is my way of hopefully doing that. And yeah, I will keep you posted if you ever want a specific video about this topic where I go over all this in a more concise way. Let me know, because I would love to talk about it more. And once again, this is not to put pressure on anyone to delete it, because I also see the perks, and I've loved connecting with so many people on Instagram, and it's just wonderful. It's just too much for me, so yeah, this has been good. Another big life update is that I started a training to be a yoga nidra teacher. I started a yoga nidra teacher training. As you guys know, I post guided sleep meditations, ASMR style, on this channel sometimes, and I have incorporated many yoga nidra techniques in the past. I've been practicing yoga nidra for about 2 years, and I discovered it during my burnout, and it has helped me so immensely. If you don't know what it is, yoga nidra is it means many different things. It's a state of consciousness. It is the changing state of consciousness. It is laying down meditation. It is an ancient practice. It is a goddess. It is, it comes from regions of Southeast Asia and India. It's discovered in Vedas, like the Rig Veda. It's part of the yoga world, if you will. And because it is such an amazing practice, I want to do it justice, and I want to learn how to guide people properly, online or offline. It's something that has brought me so much calm and healing, and I can't wait to share that at some point with you guys or my offline community. So I'm really glad that I took this step to do it. It's an online course, but there are computer and you're closing all the tabs, just rebooting the system. That's kind of what it feels like and what a lot of people refer to it as. And it is honestly more productive than taking a nap. It is more deeply relaxing and healing than taking a nap. It involves oftentimes body scans, breathing exercises, and a lot more that I'm not going to get into. I'm also still learning a lot, of course, so but I would just really recommend giving it a try if you are interested. I'm not trying to sell this to you or whatever. Do whatever feels right for you, always. But practicing this every day has brought me so much peace and calm, and it's very intentional. You set a sankalpa, which is an intention, but in a very deep way, an intention really that you want to take with you throughout your life, if you will. What matters most to you, or true heart's desire, and by spending time with that every day as well, I feel like I'm also a lot more just aligned with my values. I feel more confident when I am feeling centered and with myself and know what I stand for, know what I believe in, know what I want, know what's important to me, and that has partly to do with what Yoga Nidra brought me. It's of course a combination of all things, but I'm just learning a lot about the practice, about brainwaves and sleep states, which is very useful also as an ASMR creator, and I'm just really glad that I made this decision and invested in myself in this way. I just really love it, so I'm happy to learn more about that. So in my weeks currently, I am working, I am making ASMR videos or thinking about making ASMR videos. I still take weekly sewing classes,